To you from Investor Town Hall's headquarters in San Diego, California, I'm Daniel Wong. On today's program, we have BioSciences CEO talking about the recent results of second quarter and other exciting recent company developments here. Stay right there. We're talking about what investors need to know and how all signs are pointing towards the company finishing off the year very strong. PBIO CEO Ric Schumacher is back on the program with some exciting news and updates for investors. Ric, thanks so much for coming back on the show and excited to hear about all the developments here.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
So, Ric, last time we spoke, you were giving us some updates on a lot of progress and things of that nature, but you recently just announced the second quarter results. Can you give us some of the highlights there? Because it was a very good quarter for you.
It was a very good quarter. Very happy with the results. I'm very happy that we're able to achieve these financial results while we achieved, as you know, a number of operational results at the same time. In terms of the second quarter financial, our total revenue was up 24%, but importantly, our products and services revenue, the sales of our instruments and our consumables, were up 42% over the same period in the previous year. We hit all-time highs in our instrument sales. We hit all-time highs in our consumable sales. So we're very excited about what we're able to do. And as you recall, Dan, we have a very small sales force. There's only 9 people in the company. We're starting to grow the company. We've had the same 9 people for about 4 to 5 years now, same 9 slots. And the one person we have in sales and marketing, Roxanne, is now been put about half time in marketing, so that she's had to reduce her time that she can spend in sales, and yet our sales have continued to increase. I think that bears a great optimism for the future for us. We also overall for the half year, this is the first time that we've ever had 2 $500,000 quarters in a row. We broke $1 million in a half year, and as you know, 2 or 3 years ago, it took us an entire year or longer to break $1 million. So we're doing this on the backs of a very small team, but later, hopefully, we can get into what we're going to be doing about increasing that team during the second half of this year. So we had a great second quarter. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, definitely, and congratulations on that. It really shows the progress, and I think that's what everyone was originally looking for, is when the revenue is going to come in, and you've definitely hit that mark there. So congratulations. Last we talked about the Cancer Moonshot Initiative, and I know this is getting a lot of press and a lot of attention here. What's the latest with this development going on?
Well, as you know, on January 12th, President, he was a professor too, but President Obama announced what he called the Cancer Moonshot. And this is a program, an initiative where the government is putting about $1 billion, most of it in this coming year, almost $800 million, into trying to move the cancer research to twice as fast, do in the next 5 years what would normally take 10 years. And they're putting almost $1 billion in. So we're very excited about that, because that's a lot of money that's available, of course, to our potential customers to buy our instrumentation and our consumables. So last we talked, we announced that we had developed a brand new instrument. Very happy with this. This is fully computerized, has many bells and whistles that our previous instruments, which are selling very well, by the way, don't have. So we have a lot of optimism about this new instrument. It has a better margin, believe it or not, but it can do much more for our customers. We had 5 instruments made on our first manufacturing run. All 5 were immediately sold a couple of months ago, all 5. 3 of them went to Sydney, Australia, to the Children's Medical Research Institute, which received the instruments at the end of June, and near the end of July, middle to end of July, they were announced as an official collaborator to this Cancer Moonshot Initiative. So they're an official collaborator, Dan, with the National Cancer Institute, working with researchers. It's going to be all over the world, particularly in the U.S., though, that are going to be spurring on research into cancer. So our instruments, our Barocycler instrument, is going to be used on the front line of this battle. Our Barocycler instruments that we sold to Children's Medical Research Institute are going to be used to break apart and release proteins for study on up to 70 and maybe more than 70 1,000 tumor samples over the next 7 years. So obviously, we're very, very excited about that.
Well, Rick, I mean, I think you're definitely getting a lot of attention there. We just saw on thestreet.com, Pressure BioSciences was mentioned along Merck, Roche, AstraZeneca, Bristol Myers Squibb, and the fifth one was actually Pressure BioSciences, and they had an embedded interview in an article there with Small Cap Nation with one of the top Wall Street analysts, John Persinis. So you're definitely getting out there, and I think people are starting to know about Pressure BioSciences, and we just want people to start to learn a little bit more about you guys.
Absolutely, appreciate that, and part of that is going to happen in the next couple of weeks because we just touched on the initiative itself, but how's that going to bring us sales? Well, this coming Friday, the 16th of September, is going to be the official opening of the cancer center called ProCan, the cancer center at the Children's Medical Research Institute in Sydney, and there are dignitaries from all over the world. Dignitaries, politicians, scientists from all over the world that will be in Sydney for the unveiling. And we have a spot on that agenda. We have our head of R&D, Dr. Alexander Lazarev, will be speaking for about 20 minutes on the cancer moonshot, but particularly on our system and how it's going to help them break apart those samples to try to find the answers to the questions that we've been asking for years. There'll be other invited guests that are also speaking. And the main thing there is that this is a laboratory, a research laboratory, that has decided to use what's called PCT swath. PCT is our system, pressure cycling technology. Swath belongs to the top mass spectrometry company in the world called SCIEX, and they're part of the Danaher Group, a $68 billion holding company. Their swath procedure is a downstream from us. They're an analytical procedure. They look and tell you how much of a protein and what it looks like. We're the guys in front of their machine that break apart the cells to release the proteins that they can analyze. So Professor Aebersold in Switzerland, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, put us together in a paper, and ever since then it's changed our lives. So things have really changed for us since PT Swath began to be noticed and known by scientists, and it's going to get a lot of information and a lot of support at the Cancer Research Center unveiling in Sydney, but also following Friday, the following week in Taipei, Taiwan, there is the International Human Protein Meeting, and we're going to have Dr. Lazarev and also Dr. Nate Lawrence will be there. And this is where it's more commercial. It's not too many dignitaries, but a lot of scientists and a lot of academics and a lot of commercial. And there, Professor Aebersold, who developed PCT swath, Professor Robinson, who runs the Cancer Center at the Children's Medical Research Institute, Dr. Jenny Van Eyck, who's one of our top protein scientists in the country, in the U.S., who runs all the protein studies and analyses at Cedars-Sinai in L.A., Dr. Tianan Gao from Zurich. All of these people will be speaking and will be touching to some level on PCT swath, and included in that, of course, are the advantages of using pressure cycling technology, our technology, in the work, whether it's for cancer or whether it's for diabetes or heart disease or other diseases. There will be a lot of discussion about our technology over the next 2 weeks at these major meetings.
Very impressive, Rick. I mean, gosh, from the year we've been working together here, it's been very, very rewarding to watch you grow and see all the progress and things that you've been working on here. So I really think it's starting to catch on. You're getting the traction, and your name's getting out there. And for them to mention you alongside of all these people and big name companies here, and you're a comparable, so that just speaks volumes, I think, for the success you've had.
Thank you very much. And it's not going to end. We've got, I was planning on going, but I've already got 2 people going, so I need to stay back here. There's only 9 of us, and I'm one of the 9. I need to stay back here in the States and keep running the show, but I'm also going to be out on the road a lot in the next couple of weeks myself, day trips pretty much. I'll be up in Toronto next Saturday, the 17th, a week from today, and I'll be I'm a featured speaker at the Global Chinese Financial Forum in Toronto. This is a fantastic group. This is, I think, it's their 19th annual meeting, I believe. I could be wrong on the number, but I think it's as much as 19 annual meetings. And they've asked me to come up and speak. And they expect about 400 to 500 high net worth Chinese who live in Canada and in the U.S. and even outside of North America that attend this meeting. And I'm able to get 20 to 30 minutes to talk about Pressure BioSciences, and all the good things that are going on at PBIO. And then I am also going to head out quickly out west, where I've been invited to speak at an investment bank called Aegis. They have their 6th annual meeting, and I've never attended it before, and I was asked to speak this year, so I'll be speaking at the Aegis conference on Thursday the 22nd. So very excited about while Dr. Lazarev and Dr. Lawrence will be in Taipei and in Sydney talking about pressure cycling technology and PBI and talking with SCIEX and with others, I'll be here in the States talking about the investment potential and why we think this is a very undervalued stock and why we hope investors will look at this stock going forward.
Well, it looks like you have a busy couple weeks coming up. We'd love to have you back on the show to talk about those updates there. I guess let's kind of wrap up with the near-term goals for the second half of 2016 so that when we come back here, we can talk about what you were able to execute on.
Absolutely. We have been wanting to build a sales force, but, I've seen so many times, Dan, out there where a company builds their sales force beforehand. A lot of times it's to satisfy the wants and desires of the investors who are saying, well, you need a sales force. And you don't need a sales force until you're ready for a sales force, because those are costs that a company should not incur until they're ready. Well, we're ready. We're ready. We have international following now. We have 5 different instruments. 3 of them are on the market, and 2 of them are just about ready to go back on the market with some updates we've done to them and upgrades. And we have over 150 customers. We have nearly 300 instruments in the field. There's over 100 papers that talk about the advantages of our technology. We're ready to go from a reactive mode where Roxanne has only enough time to take the calls coming in. In a way, it's a two-edged sword. Isn't that good that we get enough calls coming in without a lot of outgoing marketing and sales efforts, that we've actually had back-to-back 500,000 quarters and broke $1 million on the backs of a company that doesn't have the time to go out there and try to generate sales. There's enough going on from really our customers. But we think there's far more business out there. So we're going to be hiring a sales force. We've started advertising. We've added the first part of that this past week, where we hired one person who has contacts throughout the industry. And in the first week, she's already given us 6 solid leads. And we're going to be hiring 4, and she's an independent consultant, but we're going to be hiring 4 salespeople. 3 of them will most likely be in the field, West Coast, Midwest, and East Coast, and 1 will most likely be located in our facility in Boston. So that's a major, major goal of ours. Second goal is I've got to bring in a financial person. We're looking to uplist the company to NASDAQ. I've been wearing 2 hats, CFO and CEO, and obviously it eats away a lot of my time, the time I do have. So it's time now to bring in a financial person that can take a lot of that part off my back so I can focus on the business. So that's the third thing is I need to stop running around the country. I need to focus on the business, hire the sales team, help train the sales team, and then I need to help run the business for the rest of the year, because we are going to be pushing revenue for the second half of this year. And the fourth thing is the uplist. We are absolutely, it's a major goal of ours to uplist this company back to NASDAQ. We think it is a very, very good possibility that this company will be back listed on NASDAQ before the end of the first quarter, before the end of March of next year. And it is a Herculean task to do that. As I know, Dan, it's a lot of work to do that. So it's a major goal of mine to get off the road, push sales, help train the sales team, and work with the new CFO, new financial person, to help get this company on NASDAQ before the end of the first quarter.
Well, Rick, we're looking forward to the exponential growth, and definitely a testament to your hard work there. It looks like we're out of time right now, but we wanted to thank our guest, Pressure BioSciences CEO Ric Schumacher, for coming on the program. For our viewers and audience out there, the company's obviously at a really turning point, pivotal time here. So, realize you heard it here. You got it from us. Share it with your friends. Let them know about the opportunity. Rick, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Appreciate it very much, Dan. Have a good day.
You too. Catch more video interviews on InvestorTownHall.com and tune in next time. Stay tuned for the next interviews here on InvestorTownHall.com. Also, make sure to join a stock board to start the discussion and get your voice heard. Investor Town Hall connects investors and companies building trust and transparency in both public and private companies. This is your chance to get your voice heard on our platform and share information with investors just like you. From equity crowdfunding, Regulation A+, to emerging growth companies, we are on the front lines in capital formation and entrepreneurship. Find out how the average Joe can get skin in the game. We put leading industry professionals front and center, giving you access to years of knowledge and expertise. Join the conversation on investortownhall.com and sign up for your free account today.